example, the rectangular example, and then we will do the we will take one or two examples in Fourier transforms and write the code. So this is the first one. So please create it, and this is rectangular Fourier series representation of rectangular wave. So now the same example that we had taken, our T naught was 8. I am defining my time. F naught is 1 by T naught. Duty cycle is 2 by T naught, and omega naught is 2 pi F naught. So this you just observe the result, and then when I start my x of t, my initial value for omega equal to 0 is the duty cycle. And what is duty cycle? 2 by T naught. If you want, you can try this code. You want to type it, I'll give you some time to type in. Otherwise, I will just run. And then n, as you know, last time also we used to keep as number of harmonics. And my value for x equal to 0. And then here what I'm doing is I'm computing my Fourier series coefficients, xn. And what was it? 1 by n pi sine omega naught n. And then what is my x of t? X of t is this is my Fourier series coefficient. So let me put that Fourier series coefficients. Whereas this is my the harmonic term. The Fourier series coefficients, and this is the harmonic term. So this is our Fourier series representation. This is the Fourier series representation. This is what we have, and now if I just want to check. Let us say I'll put n equal to 3, and then let me plot. Before plotting, let us first we'll plot it later, but let us also see what is omega naught. Print omega naught. So we'll run this, and it is running the loop for n in 1 to n plus 1. So my n is 3, so it will go for up to 3. Up to 3 is going to print x1, x2, x3. Let's run it, and then let us see the values. So you remember 0.225 we got. Then we got the next value as 0.159, 0.075. So these are the constant, the Fourier series constant that we get. And where are we computing it? Xn. In the for loop, I'm computing xn. Xn is 1 by n pi sine n omega naught. Then we want to go a little further. We want to add some more terms. Let us say I go up to 8. Up to 8. And what was our result? N equal to 4 was a 0. N equal to 8 also was a 0. So let's run it and let us see. This is what we have. And see, the fourth value is 0. The fourth value is 0. The eighth value is 0. And what is my omega naught? Omega naught is pi by 4. What is pi by 4? 0.78. 0.78. So now suppose let me not print it because I don't want to see it. It's simply when I increase n, it's going to create problem. So I'll simply print omega naught. I'll round it to 3 points after decimal. And let me run the code. So now I'm going to plot the result with n equal to, so I'm taking up to 8 terms. See, this is my rectangular waveform for the first case, and then we had the duty cycle as the time period as 8. Are you following? Are you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen? Is the screen visible? Yes. So this is what we have. I'll share the code so you can try it. Absolutely no problem. Because this is just a Fourier series which we did yesterday. We are just taking a specific example that we did today. So now what I will do, I will change my n. I will increase the number of terms. I'll increase the number of terms. Instead of 8, I'll make it as let us say 30. the weight terms, I make it as 30 terms. Now I make 30 terms and let us see how my result is. See, now this is my rectangular waveform. This is 30 terms, I'm increasing. Now what I will do, instead of having my time going from 0 to 20, let me just make it as, say, I'll let me run my time from 0 to 50. So this is what I have. I am having 50 terms in my representation and I'm plotting my time for 50 and my omega naught is 0.75. And what is the spacing between the two spectral components? 0.75. Now what I will do, I will change, tell me what should I do? I have to change my time period to 16. Our second example was changing the time period to 16. So which value should I change here? Which value should I change to 16 now? I want my time period to 16. So here, which constant should I change? Which constant should I change now? I change my T naught. T naught, I will make it as 16. Yeah, very good, very good. So I'll make T naught as 16 and then let me run and see. I'm keeping my same number of terms as 30. I keep my number of terms as 30. My T naught is 16. Now see my omega naught from 0.45, it has become 0.39 and see my signal. My time period has increased. I still have a good representation. I have 30 terms in my summation. Let me just make my time as -2 so that I'll have. So the reason is I'm having my signal from -1. So I just thought it looks better this way. So I have my first pulse also being visible. Now let me increase my T naught further. Let me make my T naught to say 32. I make my T naught to 32. I still retain 30 terms in my summation. And then why I'm showing this is the Fourier series still works. It's not that they have, even for rectangular waveforms, it still works. And this is what we are having when I have up to 32 terms. If I want, let me make the number of terms a little more higher. Say I have 50 terms and then I plot it. This is the result I get. Let me make it further. T naught is say 64. Let me make it as T naught. Let me make T naught as 60. And let's run it. And see, I have only one pulse being present because I'm plotting only my T naught is 60, but I'm plotting only till 550. So I have one pulse and look at my omega naught. My omega naught has become 0.1. So this example is just to show that omega naught keeps decreasing as I increase T naught, but I'm still able to represent using Fourier series. So this was just the example. I'll retain back my T naught as 8 because I'll be sharing the code with you, and then you can try it for different values of, try for 16, 16, 32, 64, and check it. If you want to 64, this side, yeah. So that is it. So this was an example to show that even for rectangular pulse it works and we get the result. So now having seen this, we will now continue we'll take one or two simple examples in Fourier transform. We will do it and then we will directly obtain the Fourier transform and not like this, doing the Fourier series and then getting the Fourier transform. We'll do one or two examples and we'll try to plot the result as well. So now we will do Fourier transform. We'll see what's the formal definition of Fourier transform. I will take one or two examples and plot the result. So that was just doing the example that we did in the class. So now we will see formally what is Fourier transform. So it is a transform. So if I have x of t, I will have a double-sided arrow and then I will have x of omega. X of omega. And what is the expression? This is Fourier transform. X of omega is given by integral minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power of minus j omega t dt. And then the inverse Fourier transform is given by 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power of j omega t dt. This is how the complete definition of Fourier transform is. Now we'll do the Fourier transform of the same signal that we did in the time domain. So we'll take that. So we'll take as our first example. We will try to compute the Fourier transform of a signal. You have seen how to do the Fourier transform from the Laplace domain, from the differential equation, get the Laplace transform, H of S. From H of S, you saw how to get H of omega. Now we are taking a signal, and from the signal, how to get the Fourier transform. Everything will give the same result. Only thing, this is a signal and it is not representing a system. So I will take a very simple example now. What's my signal? I'll cancel. Now I'm not going to, this is -1 to 1 and magnitude is say 1. The same signal that we did for Fourier series and we expanded it. Now we will direct, since the signal is not, this is something like a periodic signal, but time period is infinity. But because the time period is infinity, we'll do the Fourier transform. So this is the same signal that we took. We kept on increasing the T naught. Now we'll consider the signal and try to get the Fourier transform. Let us get X of omega. What is X of omega? Integral minus infinity to infinity, X of t, e to the power of minus j omega t dt. If you recollect your Laplace transform, it was very similar. Minus infinity to infinity, X of t e power minus st dt. That's all. So instead of s, we have a j omega directly. And then what I have now, in this case, my signal, what should be the limits of integration? Who can tell me? E to the power of minus j omega t dt. Who can tell me what is the limits of integration? Very good. Very good. Very good. Just so you are attentive. Very nice. How I wish I had such attentive students. All my students were like this in my regular class. Yes. Even in my regular class, we had only few students who were attentive, and that is what made our teaching good. So this is minus infinity, and this you will all be able to do it. Please integrate and tell me what's the answer. So e to the power of minus j omega t divided by minus j omega. Limits of integration is -1 to 1. And then what we have is e power minus j omega t minus e power j omega t divided by minus j omega. And this I can change it to, I multiply and divide by 2, and then I can write it as 2 by omega e to the power of j omega t minus e power minus j omega t divided by 2j. And then what I have is this quantity is sine. Sorry, I have, after substituting the limits of t, I will not have the t, because after substituting the limits, my t was 1 and minus 1, so I will not have the t. So e power minus, so I have this quantity as sine omega by omega and 2. So what is sine omega by omega? So I finally have my x of omega as sine omega by omega. What did we call this as? As a sinc function. Do you recollect? Yes. Right in the beginning of the course, we said this is sinc function. So now let us draw. This is what my signal in the time domain is. Usual practice is we write like this. X of t has a Fourier transform x of omega. And in this case, what is my x of t? My x of t is like this. In time domain, this is what I have. -1 to 1 magnitude x of t. And what is my x omega if I try to plot? X omega in this case is 2 sinc omega, and what I have is omega equal to 0 is going to be a 2. Where are my 0 crossings? Where will I have my zero crossings? Where will I have my zero crossings? At argument equal to sinc function. Who recollects the sinc function? My zero crossings of the sinc function occur at anyone? So take the argument equal to pi. So this is going to be argument is omega equal to pi. So my zero crossings are at pi, 2 pi, minus pi, etc. So this is one example. So given a signal x of t, I can get the Fourier transform in this manner. Similarly, let's take one more example now. Take one more example. Now I want you to do and tell me the answer. Now let us say I change my signal. Sorry. I change my signal in this manner, -2 to +2, this one. When I do this change, what do you think will be x of omega? You can guess the answer or you can do and tell me the answer. I'll give you some time. What do you think will be the answer? When I do sinc, x of t is given in this manner. X of t is given in this manner. It's a rectangular pulse again, -2 to +2 and 1. Can someone do and tell the answer? Or can the student coordinators tell me what's the answer? Sorry. Can someone help me? Do the problem and get the answer. Do the integration that we have just done and get the answer. Do the integration. Now we have to integrate -2 to +2 and 1. Please do that and get the answer. No need anyone to help. Just try it out. Just try it out and get the answer. Yes. Okay. When anyone is doing, and I'll wait. Otherwise, I'll give the answer. If somebody is trying the integration, I will wait. Otherwise, I will give the answer. Are you trying the integration? No? Okay, I'll give the answer then. The answer is, what is the area of this rectangle? Is 4. And sinc 2 omega. Look at the earlier answer. What is the area of this rectangle? 2. So 2 sinc omega. 2 sinc omega. So this is 4 sinc 2 omega. Now if I try to plot it, where is my zero crossing? 2 omega equal to pi, which is nothing but omega equal to pi by 2. So my first zero crossing is going to happen at pi by 2, and then pi, and so on. So compared to the earlier result, this is what I have. And how about the magnitude? Earlier signal I had a magnitude of 2. The new signal is 4. So this is what my new the signal is. This is how the Fourier transform is. When we plot the same in Python, we'll have a very good result. Now we have a very nice observation. What is the observation? I had my signal x of t, and I had, let us say, x of t, and let us say this is x1t, and let us say this is x2t. And similarly, say this is x2 omega, and say this is x1 omega. How is x2t? How is x2t? Did I expand x2t or did I compress x2t? Did I expand or compress x2t? How is x2t related to x1t? How is x2t related to x1t? Have we expanded it in time domain or have we compressed it in time domain? expanded. So if I compare, if I look at x1 and x2, what we have done is we have expanded the signal. Expanded in time domain. And when we expanded the signal in time domain, we just pulled it in time. We pulled it in time. What happened in frequency domain? Did it get expanded in the frequency domain also or no? What happened in the frequency domain? When I expand the signal in time domain, what happened to the signal in the frequency domain? Yes, it did not get expanded. What happened is it got compressed. It got compressed in frequency domain, compressed in frequency domain. So this is the most important. So no signal, if I expand a signal in time domain, it will get compressed in frequency domain. So this is one very important observation that we need to remember always. And all our signals are fixed in time duration, and hence they exist for certain time in the frequency domain. So given any signal, we can use this integration and get the result. Let's take one more example. Again, a very simple example that we have done a large number of times. Let us say x of t is equal to e to the power of minus 3t. Or let us say e to the power of minus 0.5t, 5t ut. Now I want to get the Fourier transform of the signal. So x of omega. What is x of omega? In this case, because of the presence of ut, my limits of integration is going to be 0 to infinity, e to the power of minus 0.5t, and then what is my e power minus j omega t dt. And this is by x of omega. And I can always write this as integral 0 to infinity e to the power of minus j omega plus 0.5 t dt. And then what I get, if I do the limits and if I integrate and substitute the limit, this is going to be e to the power of minus 0.5 plus j omega divided by minus 0.5 plus j omega, and the limits are 0 to infinity. So e power minus infinity is 0, and then the minus sign goes, and then this is what I have, 1 by 0.5 plus j omega. This again is a result. Result we know, because we know that, we already know that, and hence what we have now, 0 e point 5t ut will now have a Fourier transform. A Fourier transform given by 1 by 0.5 plus j omega. This is our result. And now how is my result? My result is complex. My result is complex. So can I plot this result in a single curve, or do I need two curves? Can I plot it as a single curve, or do I need two curves? I need two curves. In this case, how is my result? My result is complex, and hence if I try to plot the signal, this is what I have, t e power minus at ut. This is my plot in time domain. This is my plot in time domain x of t, and then if I try to plot my frequency response, how will I get it? We have done this a large number of times. This I can write it as mod x of omega and angle x of omega. And what is mod x of omega? We all know that this is going to be 1 by square root of 0.5 square plus omega square, and angle x of omega is minus tan inverse omega by 0.5. This is something we have seen earlier in other examples, not as a Fourier transform, but as a system transfer function. And then when I try to plot this mod x of omega, we know that it is going to be like this. It increases. And if I try to plot the phase response, angle x of omega, this is what I get. Angle x of omega. I will get it like this. And we will try this, we will try plotting it in Python, the signal also. So we'll take the signal in time domain and we'll also plot the signal in the frequency domain. So this is another example, e power minus 80 ut, and a is 0.5. So this is getting the Fourier transform of this function. Next, any other signal we take. So this way you can do the Fourier transform of any signal and get it. You know to do integration, and then you get the analytical expression and write the expression for the program. And suppose you do not know to do integration of a complex signal, we are also having the function for doing numerical integration. That we have defined a function for doing integration. You can try that method also and get the result. So I assume you will be able to do the Fourier transform either by pen and paper and then write the equation, or the other manner. So let's go to our Python code and let us try to do this example. With the first example, this rectangular pulse. We'll draw this rectangular pulse, and then we will do this. So let's do this function and the other function. Let's write the Python code for that. Yes, so now going back, let's just run the cell once again. That was Fourier series of a rectangular function. Now let's do Fourier transform. Let us do Fourier transform. Let us do Fourier transform. The first one let us take is a rectangular something has happened. Yes. The rectangular pulse. And what's my signal? Let us say my signal x of t. X of t equal to 1 for t for -1 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 1. This is my pulse. And if I want to plot my function as a function of time, so I need to define my time. T equal to, let us say, np dot linspace, let us say minus 5 to 5, and let us say 100 values. And how do I define my function? xt equal to, let us say, initialize it with the 0. I initialize this okay, let's directly plot the signal let us plot this Fourier transform x omega. What is x omega? Let me define my omega first. Omega is np dot linspace, say minus pi, np dot pi to np dot pi, or let us say minus 2 pi to 2 pi, and let me have some 50 values. And what is my x omega? If I, for my rectangular function, what did I get my answer as? 2 into np dot sine sine omega by omega. This was my function. So, and then let us plot the let me plot the function and see do I get my sinc function. This is what I got. Now I want to see for a larger range. So how do I make it for a larger range? Instead of -2 pi to plus pi, let me make it as -5 pi to plus 5 pi. And this is what I get in the and what's the title? Title is in this case it is frequency spectrum. This is what I have my signal. My signal in the frequency domain. I also need to plot my signal in the time domain. So how do I do that? If my t is less than 0, I mean less than -1, it should be a 0. And if t is greater than 1, it should be a 0. So do you want to do that, or you will do it yourself? So you can try to plot the time domain function as well, and put the plot of time and the frequency. So this is one example. Now suppose I want to change it, take another signal, time expanded signal, and plot it. What's the other example? E power -80 if I take another example, say e power -80 -80 ut. If I want to plot this one, this is my signal x of t, and this we know has x of omega as 1 by a plus j omega. This is a result we know. So this is an example of the exponential signal. So now what we will do is let's keep the same omega like before. I'll define my omega. I'll get my omega from before and I'll put it here. But what is my, let me also get my t. Let me get my t. I'll put my t here and xt. What is my xt? np.exp minus a into t. Minus a into t. And now I also need to define my time from 0 to something. And let us define a. Let us say a equal to, we said a equal to 0.5. So I'm defining my a as 0.5. This is my x of t. I define my t and x of t. And then let me plot plt dot plot t comma xt. And this is going to be plt dot title signal in time domain. This is what I have, and then I need to let us first plot this, and then we will And what's the frequency domain? We have magnitude and phase now. Magnitude spectrum and the phase spectrum. We have magnitude spectrum. What was the magnitude spectrum? 1 by np dot square root of a square. A square plus omega omega square. Hope it works. And then the phase spectrum. What was the phase spectrum? Np dot arctan minus omega by a. This is what we had. And then now we have to plot omega versus magnitude spectrum. Let's put this as magnitude spectrum. Let's plot it and let's check whether it works. So I have the signal in time domain and I'm having the signal in frequency domain. I need magnitude and the phase spectrum. So this is my magnitude spectrum. Here I will do PLT dot subplot and then let me have the phase plot also. Let me put a subplot for the phase 2, 1, 2 and magnitude versus phase spectrum, and this is the phase spectrum. And let's run this. So I am getting the magnitude spectrum and the phase spectrum. Let us look at the result. So here I have the signal in time domain. I have the magnitude and the phase spectrum. Now you want this one beside the other, you can make it one beside the other, or you can leave it one below the other. One beside the other will make it 1, 2, 1, and this is 1, 2, 2. And you can change the value of A and then see the result. You can change the value of A and see the result. This is A equal to 0.5. Let us say A equal to 1. Let me make A as say 2. Now when A equal to 2, what happens? The signal decays fast in the time domain. So let us see what happens to the signal in the time domain. You see the time domain is decaying faster, and this is what happens in the frequency domain. It's got slightly expanded. I make it even more. Let us say I make it as A equal to 5. So it's compressing very fast in time domain. Just see it falls rapidly. It expands in the frequency domain. So this is what happens. So you cannot compress a signal in both the domains at the same time. Now I will ask a question. For if you have followed very well, only then you will be able to answer. It's a very difficult question. Normally I don't get the right answer. Imagine just a guess. You're not going to do it actually. It's a guess. It's a guess. We can do the problem, but that's okay. Now suppose I have my signal as say cos omega naught t. And suppose I do the Fourier transform of cos omega naught t. I know many of you will have a lot of questions when I ask this question itself. But suppose I have the signal as cos omega naught t, and if I do the Fourier transform, what will I get? What will I get? What do you think I will get? I just want you to guess the answer. I just want you to guess the answer. I have a signal in time domain which is cos omega naught t, and suppose I do the Fourier transform of the signal in there, and if I try to plot, what is the result I'm going to get? What is Fourier transform? It basically tells us what are the signals present, what are the frequencies present in the signal. What is Fourier transform? It just tells us what are the frequencies present in the signal. And so now suppose I do cos omega naught t, and if I do the Fourier transform of the signal cos omega naught t, what do you think we will get? What do you think we'll get? Because I said it's very difficult question, don't think that you can't answer. I know you can answer it. Just think it over, because doing integration and any tool, today we have so many tools, you just run the just think it over, think it over. What is the answer? What is Fourier transform? It tells me what signals are present in the signal. What frequencies are present in the signal. So what frequency is present in the signal cos omega naught t? What frequency is present in the signal cos omega naught t? What frequency is present in cos omega naught t? What frequency is present in the signal cos omega naught t? Yes, don't tell me at the end you have forgotten even what you already knew. No, cos omega naught t, what's the frequency of the signal? Cos omega naught t, what's the frequency of the signal? Frequency, frequency of the signal, yes. Omega naught, yes. This is the signal of frequency omega naught. So what will happen if I do Fourier transform of the signal? What I will get, if I do x of omega, I will get, it will be present at omega naught, and I will also get 1 at minus omega naught. Why? Because cos omega naught is nothing but a signal of frequency omega naught. So when I go and do the Fourier transform of this is what I will get. I will get an impulse at omega naught and an impulse at minus omega naught. So one question is, Madam, you said Fourier transform is for non-periodic signals, but cos omega naught is periodic. Why are we doing Fourier transform? So directly you cannot do. That is, if you do integrating, you have to integrate from minus infinity to infinity cos omega naught t. The Dirichlet conditions will not satisfy. You will end up with some. You will not be able to complete the integration. So we have to apply certain properties and get the result of cos omega naught. And then when I do, suppose I do, because even without any knowledge, without any Fourier series or Fourier transform, we know that cos omega naught is a signal of frequency omega naught. We already know it. Even if we do the Fourier transform, we will get the same result. What result you will get? You will get pi times. The answer is going to be pi times delta omega minus omega naught plus delta omega plus omega naught. Now, do you have any other question? The next question that most of you may have is cos omega naught t. Then why are we getting plus omega naught and minus omega naught? What is the significance of minus omega naught? Anyone wants to guess? Anyone wants to try? Anyone wants to try? Let me tell you that only omega naught is of positive frequencies have physical significance. Negative frequencies have no physical significance. There is nothing like a negative frequency for us. Whenever a system oscillates, it oscillates with positive frequency only. When you hit the tuning fork and when you keep it near the ear, you will hear a single frequency. That frequency is positive. You cannot have a negative frequency. This is only because of our mathematical representation. Like cos, we go and write it as, because I write cos omega naught t. I write cos omega naught t as, I can write it as e power j omega naught t plus e power minus j omega naught t by 2. So because of this representation, this is the Euler's identity. The Euler's identity, and hence we get the negative frequency. It's a mathematical representation. There are no negative frequencies at all. That is why even if you draw only the positive side of the spectrum, that is fine. If you give me the positive, I can simply do the even symmetry and get the negative. So that is it. If someone wants me to prove it, I will prove it. Otherwise, I will share the typed content for getting this result. How is cos omega naught t having this impression? So if I have cos omega naught t, so now next if I take, suppose I take let us say cos 2 pi 10 t, 2 pi 10 t. Can someone tell me what will be the spectrum? Where should I plot the spectrum? How is my spectrum going to be? If I have a cosine function, what will I have? I'll have omega. What is my omega now? 20 pi. I will have it as, this is omega naught and this is a minus omega naught. magnitude is pi. This is my x of omega. This is what I have get my answer as pi times delta omega minus 20 pi and delta of omega plus 20 pi. So finally, after doing all the mathematics, you get only what result you know. Now extending the same question, suppose I change the question now. Suppose I change the question. I tell my signal x of t sorry, let's take my signal x of t is a constant, is 5. Signal x of t is a constant. What do you think will be the Fourier transform of? Just guess by understanding what is Fourier transform. We may go wrong in the magnitude, but suppose something is constant. What do you think? Something that is constant for all time, something like a DC signal. What do you think its Fourier transform will be? What do you think its Fourier transform will be? Yes, any guess? Like how I said, a cosine signal of frequency will have the Fourier transform at that particular frequency only. So what do you think will be the Fourier transform of a signal that is constant? Any guess? If the signal is constant, what do you think will be the Fourier transform? What frequencies are present in a DC signal? I'll make the question more clearer. What frequencies are present in a very good? So 0. So what do you think you will get? So now if I plot my signal in time domain, this is constant. Very good. Impulse at 0. So it is constant. Magnitude is 5. So now if I have a signal which is constant, then if I do my Fourier transform x of omega, I think it is 2 pi delta omega. And of course, there will be another. I will not give the exact. So you can refer any. So when I do the Fourier transform of this function, what I get is an impulse that it's going to be some constant times the impulse at omega equal to 0. So we have an impulse at omega equal to 0. At 0 we'll have an impulse. So this is what we have. If I have a constant, if a signal is constant, we know that a constant signal is a signal of 0 frequency. And if we do the Fourier transform of this constant, I will get the Fourier transform to be an impulse at t equal to 0. I mean omega equal to 0. Similarly, if I do the other example, that is, suppose I take my signal x of t is an impulse. If I take a signal x of t is an impulse, what do you think will be the Fourier transform? I take my signal x of t as an impulse, and what do you think the Fourier transform will be? Sorry. Any guess? We said a constant signal has a Fourier transform which is an impulse. It's always a converse or whatever you call it. When a signal is constant in time domain, it's an impulse in the frequency domain. So if I just change my sentence, or if I try to attempt the converse, if a signal is impulse in the time domain, it is going to be, how is it going to be in the frequency domain? A signal which is constant in one domain is an impulse in the other domain. So if I do that, what I will get is, it is going to be constant. I will get constant. It is going to be constant. Delta omega equal to 1. In case you want, we can do the integration. Suppose my x of t is delta t. If you want to do the integration, x of omega is going to be integral minus infinity to infinity delta t e to the power of minus j omega t dt. And what is this? Whenever I have an impulse function, how do I integrate? The whole integration is just evaluating the function at that particular value, because delta t is 0 everywhere except at t equal to 0. So what I get is delta omega t to be evaluated at t equal to 0, and this becomes a 1. This becomes a 1. This is what we have. So this is what happens. If a signal is constant in one domain, it becomes an impulse in the other domain, and hence the Fourier transform of a constant is an impulse. The Fourier transform of an impulse is a constant. There is a multiplying constant of 2 pi in one case. That is fine. That you can refer to the books. So is it clear? So what happens in Fourier transform is we try to get the frequency components which are present in the signal. So now suppose I take my speech. Suppose I take my voice. If I take my voice, and if I plot my voice, it's going to be something like this. Because I keep talking loudly, softly, something, I keep on changing. My amplitude keeps on changing. This is my voice. My voice, if I do this, if I take my voice and then if I do the Fourier transform, what do you think it will look like? It is going to have some components. It is going to have some components. It will have some components, and if I look at omega, it will tend to 0 after for frequencies. It is going to be 0 for frequencies greater than 5 kilohertz. If I do this x of omega, if I do this x of omega, if I take my voice, I don't speak in one frequency. You have seen, if you recollect that initial example, I think the second class, I shared a Python code wherein you can run a sine wave and hear the sine wave. You saw how a sine wave of 800 hertz here, 1 kilohertz here, but I am not speaking like that. So we don't speak in single frequencies. We speak in a whenever we take our speech and do the Fourier transform of our speech, it is going to have some spectrum. Now tell me, is my speech periodic or non-periodic? Is my speech when I talk, is my speech periodic or non-periodic? Non-periodic. We don't speak. Our speech is not non-periodic. When I do the spectrum of my speech, it is going to be non-periodic, and this is what when I do the spectrum, and we all know that all our voice is less than 5 kilohertz. So that is why we need Fourier transform. Suppose you want to design a filter. Finally, there is some background noise. Let us say filter design. Okay, there is some background noise, and then you want my voice, you record my voice, and there's a lot of background noise, and then you want my voice to get filtered, and you want a good voice to come out. So you will will you pass it through a low pass filter? Will you pass it through a high pass filter? And what will be the cutoff frequency of the low pass filter? What do you think will be? I want my voice. There's a lot of background noise when we record the voice, and then I want my output to come out clear. So if I want to remove all high frequency noise, what should I pass? Should I pass it through a low pass filter or through a high pass filter? Through a low pass filter. Very good. So I need to pass it through a low pass filter. What should be the cutoff if I want my voice to come out as completely? What should be the cutoff frequency? What is the cutoff frequency of my voice? Of the filter. What should be the cutoff frequency of the filter? If I want my voice, my voice only, your voice, everybody's voice is the same. Please remember that. All of us, it's not that your voice is different than my voice. What is my voice? I told you, human speech, we speak up to around 5 kilohertz. So if I want my speech to come out properly with all the noise removed, I need to have a filter of 5 kilohertz. And you know how to design the filter. You know what is Fourier transform. Tomorrow I will see whether I can show you an example I will take a voice sample and I will try to share the spectrum of the voice. Because today we are so, because finally you should know that all this Fourier transform is not mathematics. The beauty of the whole voice, if you take, no one knows what I'm going to speak next. Nobody knows what I'm going to speak next. You do not know what is my next sentence. But what you know is, no matter what I speak, she will speak less than 5 kilohertz only. This is for anybody speaking. So what we say is, we do not know the signal in time domain, but we know the signal in frequency domain. So if I design a system which can pass signals up to 5 kilohertz, then it is going to do very good performance. Now, on the other hand, if I want to have a good music, I want a good music, I'm going to have we have a good music team in the college. We call the music team, and we have different people, someone on the tabla, someone on the violin, the veena, the guitar, and then we have one or two people giving the vocal voice. And then when I want, if I want to speak music, and suppose I want to remove any other noise which is beyond music, and then I want the good music to come out, again it is going to be a low pass filter. Any idea of, when I have a good music system or a good music playing, what do you think are the frequencies that are contained in the music? If I take a 1 minute music, and then if I do the Fourier transform of that, what do you think I will get? What do you think are the frequencies a good music is going to have? Any guess? Any guess? Any guess? Just try, just guess. Up to what frequencies I can hear? Up to what frequencies can human ears hear? The audible range. It will go up to 20 kilohertz. Yes, up to 20 kilohertz. So yeah, the tabla is a low frequency instrument. If you take your violin or if you take your guitar, they are the high frequency instruments. So they are going to be of a high frequency. That is, and how do we know all this? Only if you do the Fourier transform. If I record the music, and then if I do the Fourier transform of that, I can see it. I can see the spectrum, then I can accordingly design any filter. And sometimes you will have the electrical power noise, the 50 hertz frequency being coming and creating some interference in the signal, then I can remove that particular frequency. So that is about Fourier transform. For you can compute the Fourier transform of any signal. And if I what the drawback of the Fourier transform in the above representation, the Fourier transform, if I want to do for any signal that we have seen, if I have x of t, and if I want to do the Fourier transform x of omega, if I want to write a very generalized program, you saw the examples that we took. We took one example. We computed the Fourier transform by pen, and then we wrote the program for that. If I want a generalized program to compute the Fourier transform, then I need to do what is known as the discrete Fourier transform, and for that we need to do digital signal processing. With analog signal processing, I cannot write a generalized program for computing the Fourier transform. So that becomes another topic or another course itself, the course on digital signal processing. So there we have, give me any signal, I can write a general program for computing the Fourier transform for any signal. Otherwise, when I have it as analog mode, I do by pen and paper, I integrate and I get the result. So that is it. So we stop here for today. Any questions? Any question? I think the quiz question, you have already received the quiz paper. You try answering the quiz, and I will keep the quiz open till night 10 o'clock. And tomorrow we'll have a very short, I mean, we meet at 10. Tomorrow 10 o'clock, I think we are going to launch the feedback survey. So you will get a feedback. 10 to 10:30 will be your feedback session. And after that, if possible, I'll try to show you some spectrum of the audio signal. I'll try to figure out. If possible, I'll try to show that. And then you can we'll have an oral feedback. Anyone can unmute and give any comments or suggestions for improvement. And then we wind up the course. So tomorrow is just a valedictory. Today we are almost done with the course. So any comments, any feedback? So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for participating. Thank you for participating actively. And yes. Any comments? Any comments? Any suggestions? Okay. So you please take up the quiz, and tomorrow do not forget to take the feedback. The survey will be launched tomorrow. Please take the feedback survey, because we need this for documentation. We need to prepare a report. We need to share the result. So I mean the details. So we need it for our report. And tomorrow we will also be taking a photo of all the participants. So please try to have your video on, at least for capturing the photo. So thank you. So we meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We meet tomorrow at 10. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We had a very nice active participation by the students. Though the number is small, but that's fine.